I'm back, baby! Hey everybody, and thanks for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. So, I woke up to some pretty great news this morning. As you all know, if you've been on my channel long enough, I have not hidden or made it a secret that I am a huge fan of Spider-Man. And I think that was made pretty clear when Spider-Man left the MCU to go do Sony movies. Disney wanted more money. Sony was like, no way, we ain't giving you more money. I can understand where Sony's coming from and Disney in that point. I made it very clear that I was not the biggest fan of Spider-Man leaving the MCU. I made a video on that on my break, in my truck, at work, after I found out the news. So I figured since I made a video on my disappointment, I might as well make a video on my joy, because Spider-Man is coming back into the MCU! But for how long? I think that's something that we really need to look into. So what does this report really say? Well, according to Variety, Marvel will now be getting 25% of the profits as opposed to the 5% that they got before. And in return, they are making one more solo Spider-Man movie within the MCU, as well as allowing him to be a part of one future Marvel project. So it doesn't sound like this deal is going to be as long as the deal was when he was allowed to be in Civil War, 2 Spider-Man solo films, and 2 Avengers films. But you know what? I really don't care about that right now. If they want to take Spider-Man, if they have plans to take Spider-Man into the Sonyverse after this deal is done, I've kind of prepared myself for that by this point. But what I'm really excited about from this deal is that they're allowing Kevin Feige and the team at Marvel and just the Marvel Cinematic Universe in itself to complete their Spider-Man trilogy. The Spider-Man arc, the Spider-Man story that they want to tell from Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, and whatever the future third Spider-Man movie is going to be called, they're going to be able to complete their story and their vision for that. Because even though when this deal broke the first time and Spider-Man was seemingly out of the MCU, and Kevin Feige said this,
and we told the story we wanted to tell, and I'll always be thankful for that.
I didn't buy it. I didn't buy that for a second, because they said that they had plans for Spider-Man 3. They said that the third Spider-Man movie was going to be like no other Spider-Man movie that we have seen before. And that got me really excited, especially for where Spider-Man Far From Home left off. I want to see where that story, where it goes, where Peter's going to be, how Peter's relationships are going to be. And I want to see that within the MCU. I didn't want to see that without the MCU, with him in the Sonyverse, in a verse that doesn't have the characters that he is connected to, like Happy Hogan and Nick Fury and Maria Hill. They all acted like, oh, well, you can get over this. Spider-Man can get over this. He's not constantly talking about the heroes in the MCU. He's not constantly meeting them. He doesn't have that strong connections to them. But they do. They've built a culture in Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home where these Avengers, these superheroes, are a part of these teenagers' lives. They're in their dialogue and just their language in general. So to go from a Spider-Man movie in the MCU where they're constantly talking about these heroes and events of the MCU to go to a Spider-Man movie that doesn't even mention them would have been really weird for me. And I know a lot of people thought that it'd be fine, they'd be okay with it. I was never going to be. I needed to have that in the MCU. It just made sense to me. But regardless of all this, whether this deal goes further beyond the solo film and the one Marvel project, or if they're just letting Kevin Feige and the team at Marvel to complete their vision for the third Spider-Man movie to have a complete trilogy, one other Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and then pull them out and do their own Sonyverse movies, that will be okay with me. I'm just really happy to see that Kevin Feige and the guys at Marvel are going to be able to complete their vision within the Marvel Cinematic Universe for their third Spider-Man movie. That's what really matters to me, profits and the money and all that. I don't usually make videos on stuff like this because I don't know that kind of stuff. I don't know that world. I don't care about that world. I just am a fan who enjoy watching movies, and I enjoy talking about movies with my friends and with you guys here on the YouTubes. The business side of stuff is not usually stuff that I like to talk about, but this is a creative thing that I feel is important and something that I'm looking forward to because I like seeing people complete their visions. Say what you want about the prequels, and I'm going to talk about the prequels before episode 9 comes out, but at least George Lucas got to complete his entire Star Wars vision, his entire story. That's what I want to see happen in the MCU with Spider-Man. I want to see Kevin Feige and John Watts and Tom Holland complete their Spider-Man arc and their story in the MCU. And once that trilogy is done, once they've told that story, if they want to move Spider-Man over into the Sonyverse, I will be okay with that, because at least I know that they would have told their complete story. Anyway guys, that's all I have to say at the moment about my thoughts and opinions on Sony and Marvel reuniting to make another deal that allows Spider-Man to be in the MCU. I'm obviously super excited. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I mean, I bought this just 'cause I could. But regardless of all that, what do you guys think of this deal? Are you excited to see Spider-Man in the MCU, or were you a little bummed? Are you like, no, we were going to get him with Venom, we were going to see him with Tom Hardy? I can understand that a little bit. I didn't want to see Spider-Man shoehorned into the next Venom film right away. And he could possibly still be in the Venomverse, because I read somewhere that this deal also allows Spider-Man to go from the MCU, but also allows Sony to incorporate him into their Spider-Verse movies that they want to do. So it'll be interesting to see what the future holds and where Spider-Man's going to go with Marvel and Sony in the future. But guys, comment your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below about what you thought about the Spider-Man and Sony reuniting deal. And once again, guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. Once again, my name's Zachary Milne. Thank you for talking movies with me. Hope you have yourself a great day. Now I'm gonna go fight some crime.